Thank you for coming. My name is Flávio. I'm from Brazil. I hope you don't have any difficulty to understand my poor English. I'd like to thank Tableau for giving us an opportunity to share our story with you guys. Today I'll share with you our Porto Seguro's journey to implement a self-service BI strategy and how Tableau has been helping us to achieve that. Here you have our agenda. First, I'll give you a brief description about Porto Seguro and its business. Then I'll talk about what we consider a dictatorial data environment and data management. Then I will talk about what we consider, what we've been discussing in Porto Seguro about data democratization. Then I'll show you a couple of details on how Porto Seguro has been doing it. I'll give you a practical example of how business can benefit of this kind of strategy. Then some lessons learned, and then the QA. I believe we're gonna have 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A. So Porto Seguro is the largest insurance company in Brazil. We are #1 auto insurer. But we are not only an insurance company. We have financial services, credit cards, and other kinds of services, like a mobile company and home services, car repair stations, and so on. We serve 8 million users in Brazil. We have around 16 million items secured. And you have some big numbers. We are 14,000 employees. We work with almost 30,000 brokers. Now next, let's talk what we consider to be a data dictatorship environment. It's a history about how traditional business intelligence departments that usually are very centralized, giving business users very low access to data. In these departments, in these business intelligence departments, usually the users have access only to very consolidated data. And usually don't have tools and processes to help them to do analytics with their businesses. These departments also have trouble with the demand. The demand for new reports, new KPIs, new cubes has been overwhelming them. Usually, you have much more demand that you can really attend. These departments, we consider that they have been blind to all the pressure that the business has been suffering for increase of sales, cost reduction, what happens is that the business starts to pressure us for change. They start giving their own solutions for their problems. They buy tools for themselves. They buy database. They start having database on their computers. They buy servers and put behind his desks. Have you seen things like that? Okay. That's how Porto Seguro was. And the dictatorship resists. And we tell the business, you can't run this app. You can't create this database on your machine. You can't do this job. This is my job. But what they don't see is that they can't stay this way forever. What usually happens is that you become a very isolated unit, department, and one by one, all business units revolt. And then you lose control. And then databases are spread all over the company. And what happens is the ruin of the dictatorship. No company can survive with this kind of data analytics systems. So, this is Clisthenes. He's a Nobel Athenian who died in 508 before Christ. And he's considered to be the founder of Athenian democracy. What for you guys is a data democratic system? It is like Carnival in Rio. You know, I'm from Rio. And Carnival happens in the summer. You have a bunch of freedom there at Carnival. You can use a costume. You can use a hat, a mask, or even a very small bikini. You can do almost anything you want. We might want this kind of thing in our vacations, but it's not a good idea in our organizations. That's why we established some principles of our democratic data management. So those are the pillars. Freedom. Everybody should be free to have access to data and do their analysis. No matter if it's IT, sales, operations, no matter their role. Another very important principle is equality. There must be rules that apply to all. But the differentiation should come from people's own abilities. And the last one is the state of rights. Data can only be shared enterprise-wide if it's centralized. We believe that corporate data, the most important data, should be centralized. Business we're giving business tools to make them able to run analytics, but they only can use IT-supported tools. You can't download a new tool from the internet and start messing around with data. We offer support for not centralized data. Of course, you can receive some data from another business unit, from a partner, from a colleague. Put it in your Tableau dashboard and publish it. But then, for this data, you are responsible for its quality. You can call IT and question why they didn't take care of that problem for you. And we have a center of excellence that gives support to end users, train the users, and also they coordinate our user community. For instance, we have quarterly meetings with all Tableau users at Porto Seguro. Tableau has been helping us to bring people to bring new knowledge and talk about new features. And we take business units that have been doing good jobs using Tableau to present their cases to the community. Now I'll show you how was the original state at Porto Seguro. Many companies have their legacy BI solutions. What usually happens in Porto Seguro a lot, is that users usually take data out of the BI environment, get data from other systems, and need to manipulate that. So need to acquire data, prepare, store somewhere, create any kind of visualization, graphic, a presentation, and show it to someone who can analyze and decide what to do with that. We believe that data preparation activities is around 80% of this kind of process. And only 20% is really analytics. What we've been proposing to our business units, and just have been making a lot of sense to them, that corporate data preparation should be role of IT. And business units should focus only on analytics. That's our high-level self-services BI architecture. So getting data from the systems, storing it the best way for the use. Govern it. Give it meaning, semantics. And offer tools for the business to run their analysis. And then the business is completely free and independent to run their own analysis. This kind of thing have huge impact in some business. I'll give you an example. We had a client that had a team to get all the data they needed to analyze, put it all together, load somewhere, make graphics using Excel, and so on. When we showed this proposition and brought the data preparation activities to IT and freed the business team to start analyzing, what we heard from the business was, oh my God, now I need to change my team to start doing analytics. They used to deal with files and tables and everything that's more technical. So one thing that we've been struggling at Porto Seguro is cultural change. How you get these people that usually, that in the past was preparing data, messing with data, how do you prepare them to do really analytics? We don't have the answer yet for that question. Now I'll share with you how Tableau started at Porto Seguro. The first installation of Tableau at Porto Seguro was in October 2014. Tableau was initially brought to Porto Seguro by the business, one of those independent and revolted business units. And we've been growing very fast. By December 2014, we had 15 users. July 2015, we had 120 users. And in July, we configured our first server. We changed the licensing to server. By the end of 2015, we had around, I don't remember exactly the numbers, but around 200 users. July this year, July 2016, we had to expand our environment. So we now have I'll show you it's in the detail next slides. But we now have a 40-core environment to support around 1,300 users. 1,100 dashboards published in our server. More than 20 sites configured in the server. And we expect to reach 2,000 users by the end of this year. We have a huge project that will give our branches access to Tableau dashboards. Around 1,000 users at the branches. Around December, we'll start accessing Tableau dashboards to have information about their sales performance and cost performance and everything. That's our Tableau architecture. So we have 40 cores divided in two 16-core worker servers. The worker servers are the servers that run the Vue SQL processes and data services. And we have a separate server to run the extracts. These servers are also separated in different data centers for disaster recovery requirements. Now I'll share with you one case of one of our clients. You know, auto insurance is the greatest product at Porto Seguro. I mentioned before, we are number one in Brazil for auto insurance. And most of the revenue of Porto Seguro comes from this business. But you can see how difficult it was for them to do analysis. We had a data warehouse that has been being developed for the last 15 years. People that are directors and vice presidents in Porto Seguro in the past developed code in this environment. And the data moves through different layers until the user can put their hands on it. So we have a data warehouse, then we need to process data and move the data to data marts, and then run processes, again, to load cubes. And then the user had Microsoft Excel to do their analysis. The problem is that this environment is very complex. We have thousands of ETL processes that need to run to load all these layers. We have dozens of cubes, hundreds of metrics at cubes. They had only very, very consolidated data, no detailed data in the cubes. So the business was unable to run any analytics. They were very dependent of IT, every time bringing new information to the cubes. And they also had to ask for other departments to run analysis for them. So what we did. And one interesting thing, important thing as well. The very few users at Porto Seguro have access to our data warehouse. Our data warehouse is mostly created for the processes. So what we did to give these users power to analyze, we made a copy of almost 80 data warehouse detailed data to a different environment, because this data has so much devoted to process that we can't put users to run queries directly on that environment. So we need to migrate data. We trained 9 users in Tableau. They have been using this solution for about a year, and they already have created more than 100 dashboards in their site. And what were the results? They have reached some insights. For example, they found out that they were giving too much discount on combo insurances. For instance, you buy an auto insurance, and if you buy a home services thing, you get a discount. But they find out the discounts were too high. Other thing that other insight, they found out that the claims of cars, for pre-owned cars up to 2 years old, sold by car dealerships, their level of claim was much higher than other pre-owned cars insurances. What they did, for the discount on combos, they limited the discount to 100 reais, around $30. And for that segment of clients that have cars bought in used cars dealerships, they increased the price of the insurance for those. I don't know how many of you work in insurance business, but in insurance there is a balance with how much claim you can support and how you control it by the price. So when you have high levels of claim, what usually you do, you raise the price, and that segment becomes less. They buy less of this product, so your level of claim diminishes. And the results they had with these actions, around $4 million last year. And they do not stop. What one interesting thing is that when they start using Tableau and had access to all this data, it's very difficult to us to know exactly what kind of benefits they are having, with what kind of insights they are doing. We've been discussing a lot how the user community can help us on sharing the benefits and sharing the insights between among the businesses. So these clients are now very, very happy. You guys, I'm moving really fast. Do you have questions?
So in Brazil, do you have to get your rate changes and stuff approved by some governing body to make these changes? I know that's something you do in the US.
The question was if there's some institutes that rules the prices of the insurances in Brazil. Yes, we have, but there is some freedom for the insurance companies to deal with their pricing. Any other question?
You mentioned that your Tableau installations using the tool was there before you had the databases consolidated. Talk a little bit about the balance that you had between trying to run with the data sources that you were working with before you had the columnar database in place versus the time that you build that database and start ready to use it.
It was for us and for the business one project that we need to evolve together, because not even the business had knowledge, sufficient knowledge about the data that was stored in the environment. So we began with 10 tables, and they started knowing it, talking to us, and doing their first analysis. And the next week, please migrate more 5 tables. And then more 5, and then more 10, and then more 60. We have migrated so many tables to these environments that we had now at Porto Seguro a project to do some kind of refactoring of the data, auto insurance data. Yes. Thank you for asking. I forgot to mention that our Tableau server is exposed in the internet. Our current user already access their dashboards through mobile. And in that specific project for branches, we are planning mobile access to their management, not for the agents themselves. It's been very interesting how it happens. I mentioned we have a COE. So these people, they take care of training people. So a new business unit is going to start using Tableau, so they need training. So my team talks with our partner, and we provide them training. Another interesting thing is that I like to say that Tableau is like a seed. You drop it in different terrains, and the plants grow differently. In some terrains, it grows very fast. in other, very slow. I mentioned this before. There's a high cultural change here in this kind of service and approach. We've been, Porto Seguro has been trying to become a data-driven, analytics-driven company. To achieve that, that's only the basement, the main structure. But there's also a very important cultural change. I'll give you a very good example of that. One of the first business units that we made a project with them to adopt Tableau, we made a very nice presentation for their executive. And we gave him options. You can start small with a few users, or you can use it for all your department. We showed him how this would work. We created a dashboard during the meeting for him with data that we knew that was important for him. And as an executive, it became very clear to him that he needed this kind of thing to his whole department. So we bought exactly 30 Tableau desktop license for their entire team. And it's not, and we've been struggling with them how to change the culture of the department, to stop doing things in Excel. That's how they have been doing it for the last 10 years. And it's not been easy. So it's different. It's not equal between business units. Any other question?
With the different business units, what do you segregate them in the server? Do you decide projects?
We segregate them through sites. When a new business unit starts using Tableau Server, we create a new site for them. We train their people, and we train one person at the business unit to be the site administrator. So he can publish, he can manage users. But my team does the server administration. And
follow-up question to that. So do you have business units which would require cross-site data access to the same data source?
yes, a lot. And when we started consolidating data, it was very interesting because different business areas start showing their dashboards to other business units that call us, hey, I need that thing too. And another interesting thing is the business units began to cross their data. For instance, an important business unit at Porto Seguro is call center. It has data from all products. And that's very interesting how every product wants to have a small view of their product in the call center data. So it's happening a lot.
So in that case, you publish your data source to each site?
Actually, yes, but we are planning to change it very shortly. We'll migrate to data sources at server level. So for that specific data source, database or information, you're going to have only one data source in Tableau server. Any other? Please.
You mentioned you have 1,300 users right now, and you're going to have 2,000 users, right? How many Tableau developers do you have in your team?
I have, it's funny. I have one Tableau developer in my team. What we enforce the business, do Tableau development yourself. I'll train your team. I'll give you support. I'll give you best practices. But I know what you're trying to reach. For some business units, it's not that easy to start using. So we have partners that help the business to move fast. It's very common to run a project, and the expectations of the business unit executives is very high. So they can't wait the curve of experience of their users. So many times I use a partner to create the first dashboards for them. Okay? Anyone?
Separate question. Like all the dashboards right now offered within your company, are you receiving dashboards from external vendors?
No, it's all internal.
Are you expecting vendors to send you dashboards for users?
No, we don't have plans for that. I'm sorry? No, we don't have any plans for that. Because, I'm sorry, I don't know how it's here in US, but brokers are very important in Brazil insurance market. So all the relationship between the client and the insurance company is made by the broker. So we are really creating dashboards for the brokers, but not for the clients, yet. Will, you have a question? So we're moving to the end of this session. I'll share with you some lessons we learned in these 2 years of this journey. So we've made a lot of investment in our environments, in licensing. So we want business to go beyond dashboards. Dashboard is a cool thing, okay? But what else? What kind of money you're taking out of this solution? It's a cultural change, as I said before. Another lesson learned, it's very important to have your user community. The different Tableau developers and users from the different business areas, they can share their knowledge and experience. And it's very interesting when we put them together. And we share their work among them, when we bring Tableau to bring interesting material for us. As I said before, partners. We've been working with Tableau for the last 2 years. When we started, we were still inexperienced in this solution in the environment. So our partner helped us a lot in the beginning. Now, our partners are still important because, as I said before, I can help the business also with development when they need. Another aspect is data governance. We've seen in this Congress, Tableau is investing in helping us to have a better governance in the environment. But it's a challenge, having all these users creating dashboards and in the KPIs and their own vision about the results of the company. We don't have answers for that yet. I don't know if we're gonna ever have, because if you think, forget Tableau. People in companies are trading Excel with the same kind of information. And how you govern that? You will uninstall Excel from users? So it's an open question. We don't know yet how to solve that. And as I said before, create a center of excellence. You might think that our center of excellence has 10 people, 20, 100. But our center of excellence in Porto Seguro, Tableau Center of Excellence, is made of 2 people. It's not easy, but it's something to really invest and have in your organization. Well, I don't know if you have any further questions.
What did you mean by center of excellence?
A group of people trained with advanced training that administer the environment for you, not the infrastructure thing that you can give it to operations teams, that can advise users. In Porto Seguro, if you developed a dashboard and it's slow, you can call my team and have an advice on how to optimize your dashboard. Other things the COE does, we tune the tool, the environment. We test and deploy new versions. We have plans, for instance, to upgrade our Tableau environment to 10.02 this year. So my team is taking care of, the COE team is taking care of. I've seen other implementations of COEs where people that develop Tableau is inside the COE. It's a choice. There's no right or wrong approach. Cool. Please. I'm sorry.
How do you manage the reporting of performance of the different business units? You have all these other folks developing dashboards. Do you have like a central group that has oversight of what performance or sales or high-level managers are for the business unit?
Yes, that's another. When I mentioned administer the server, I was including this. the COE team also try to understand the workload of the server, what's the process consumption, the worst dashboarding time in terms of processor and space consumption. What's the most accessed? What are the less accessed? How's the space in the server? How's the memory on the server?
But I guess from a perspective of, each of the sales office for you, from the Sao Paulo, who manages the reporting of what the sales for that office is? Is it done centrally or is it?
Yeah, okay. In Porto Seguro, we have a central sales administration team. So this centralized sales team in the business, they are creating the dashboards that's going to be accessed by the branches and the sales teams. Okay?
Do you have a chargeback model?
Yes.
How do you react to that?
2 ways. Our server is designed for having to attend all the company, to have all users from the company. But it was planned to grow organically. 5 new users this month, 10 new users next month. But if you want a project, you're gonna bring 500 users, we will need to expand the server. You will pay this expansion. Another model is the maintenance and the data center costs. Then we have we have a method where we develop reports in Tableau for the number of users of that specific business unit, how much space the business unit is spending on the server, and how much CPU processing they are spending. That's how we divide the price among the business units. I'm sorry, that lady was waiting.
I work in health insurance also. We build dashboards for our executives and their trends, looking at trends and say utilization. And what ends up happening is we build our dashboards to answer that next question that they always have. And what it always leads to is this drill down to like a member level, where they can pass off maybe some problem areas off to some case management areas where they can actually investigate. But what we're finding is, and I'm kind of curious, how do you manage that, or this, and I don't know how it's in Brazil, but PHI is kind of a big deal. And so a lot, there's, to get to that drill level, how are you controlling like user level access to certain pieces of information that maybe someone on one side of the business really should be able to get to, all within the same dashboard?
One thing we've been struggling at Porto Seguro is how people are developing dashboards. We've seen during the Congress, Tableau never showed a dashboard with scrolling. But in Porto Seguro, we have dashboards with pages and pages of scrolling. Many showing an incredible level of detail. What we've been discussing at Porto Seguro, you need to make a choice. You pay for having too much detail in your dashboard. because it starts causing performance issues. But we do have dashboards with name, for instance, in call center, they have dashboards with the name of the people. I think these are the call center. There's no right answer. It's a matter of choice. You need to, in this sales project, it's been a nightmare how to balance this, because the branches want the names of the brokers that are selling more or selling less. Helped you? Miguel? Well, 40 seconds. It's been a very complicated discussion at Porto Seguro. Some believe that analytics is something for, very talented and special people. My personal belief is that analytics should be anywhere. Every person in the company should be able to get access to data and do their own analysis on what's their responsibility, what kind of job you do. You can have access to data about your job and understand how it does. So we are struggling. We haven't reached an answer for that question yet. I hope next month we can have an answer. Anyone else? I think not. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.